It is interesting. I said, we can say what we want in the Aaron Rodgers-McCarthy split. Back-to-back 12 wins, a meddling owner, rebuilt the O-line. They didn't have Dalton Schultz or Michael Gallup at full strength early. Dallas, I think they kind of match up with San Francisco, Eric. I do. Your thoughts?
Well, your point on Brock Purdy being tight against Seattle, to me, that's the key to this game is Dallas has to find a way to take advantage of his inexperience, to take advantage of his anxiety and the natural tension that's going to go with a game like this. And nobody's really been able to force him into those tight spots.
Yeah.
And he's made some poor decisions throwing the ball, and teams haven't taken advantage of it very much. And he runs around with the football. He tries to make things happen, and no one's really made him pay for that. And to me, that's the key for Dallas is they have to find a way to do that. And then Dak's got to be more in line with what we saw last week, although that can be deceptive. I don't think Tampa was a very good team going into that game.
Yeah, it is. Eric, you were in a lot of these with the Patriots when you were at home and you were favored. And I can remember Baltimore making a couple of trips there. I remember the Jets making a trip. And, Dallas, everybody's got the Niners winning. Did you sense it on the week up when your favorite, Brady Belichick, at home, Foxborough, it's on, there's no other game on. Could you feel that pressure as a coach?
You don't look. Each one of these games has its own level of pressure, and each week it increases some. But it's interesting, Colin. Once the game starts, it's really the time leading up to the game where you feel it the most, and where you have to do a good job with your team to get them to relax and to not get them to expend too much energy and too much thought and work themselves up too much prior to kickoff. That's the kiss of death, because then they're exhausted going into the game. Yeah, you feel it each level, what that means, but as the game unfolds, it goes back to the normal status quo.
Okay.
Especially when you've got some experience.
Right. So, you'd think bye weeks are great. But when I used to work in minor league baseball players like to play. They don't like days off, especially 2 or 3. And so sometimes in a baseball playoff, you get 2 or 3 games, and guys, they want to be in the cage every day. And in football, we instinctively think, give these guys rest. I watched the Titans and the Packers last year with rest. Did not play particularly well. And I think to myself, you had these. You guys I felt like an annual tradition in New England. You had a bye. And I think, I don't know. By the way, Philadelphia did not play great into their bye, Eric. It does worry me a little. Does it worry you?
Look, we loved the bye in New England. I loved the bye in New England from a coaching standpoint, to be able to sit through the weekend and watch the potential teams you're playing, to get some work done that whole week leading up to it on the couple of teams that you have a shot to play. That gave you a real head start. And then if the guys do a good job of getting off their feet, of taking care of their body, of maximizing that time, it's a huge edge. Again, inexperience versus experience. We did have a lot of experience with it, so we got better at it. And I think sometimes if you're treating that bye week as just a vacation week and you're not maximizing it, it can go the other way too, and you can be rusty.
So we all know that Buffalo's good, right? Like that's not, we know that. But Cincinnati got to a Super Bowl kind of a year ahead of schedule. I think the Jags are a year ahead of the rebuild schedule. After the Urban thing, I didn't think they'd be this good. I think the Giants are ahead of schedule. So I think those teams go in, and the old saying, house money. You feel really good where the organization's at. Doug Peterson Brian Daboll, Zach Taylor, not a lot of pressure. Go out and play. But Buffalo's different. We got 41 wins in 3 years, and Cincinnati last year went to Arrowhead and won. And I do feel like of all the teams in there this year, it's like, okay, guys, it's your turn. Let's go. And then you add that Cincinnati's O-line, it's hard to win a playoff. It's hard to win an NFL game against an average team if you're missing both tackles. Like, I feel like Buffalo is a little heat on them this weekend. That's my takeaway. Your thoughts?
Yeah, you talked about the pressure component. To me, there's a ton of pressure on Buffalo, and for a lot of good reasons. They didn't really play well that last game of the season against New England. They got two incredible kickoff returns, and then there is no reason that Miami should ever have been in that game.
None.
Ever. And the fact that it turned out the way it did, that's why I agree with you. It's hard to overcome the losses that the Bengals have had on the offensive line. But based off of the way Buffalo played, what did they have? Four fumbles. They ended up losing one. And the Dolphins got 17 points off turnovers. Josh Allen had the two picks in the foam. They gave or were trying to give the game to the Dolphins. And Cincinnati's a much better team than Miami is at this point, even with the losses they have on the O-line.
So I will say this, that that come from behind win by Jacksonville's crazy. And I almost feel like when you do that, you're destined the following week. Like I thought TCU emptied the bag against Michigan. Now I know it's college, but I feel like Kansas City now, it's like the Warriors. There is a confidence in their ability to make big plays and win games. And I do feel there's a little flip the switch to it. Similarly, Belichick, Brady. Now, Bill rides everybody so hard, I didn't see lulls. I always felt like New England gave you almost. But you've been in this position and few have. You are the gold standard of a league. You're a touchdown plus favorite. Here come the young kids. By the way, one of those years, I don't know if it was Jackson, but you had a few of these teams that came into Foxborough. It was like, okay, they're the kids. You're the veterans. Can that be a coaching challenge, being in Kansas City spot this weekend?
Yeah, definitely, because human nature takes over. And Bill is the best that I've been around. Bill Belichick's the best I've been around at getting guys to focus on what the real challenges are that your opponent gives you. And you went into every game, regardless of who you were facing and how bad they were, thinking, oh, this team could beat us unless we do the following things this way consistently. And it's amazing, and it's a gift, because there's the human nature that takes over, where you know what the other team's record is, you know what they did the last week, your friends and family are telling you how good you are, everybody expects you to win, they're talking about the AFC Championship game, they're talking about the Super Bowl, and you've got to put that out of your mind. Now, I think Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes is a different formula for Jacksonville, especially if Jacksonville plays anywhere near like they played in the first half against the Chargers. I can't imagine that we're going to see a Kansas City let down like we saw last week.
Hey, Harbaugh, he chose Michigan, and I defended him this week. I said, listen, if you have a great coach at the college level, Pete Carroll for years at USC, sniffed around. Maybe not the first 3 years, but the last 3 or 4. That's the reality of having a great coach. NFL coaches don't sniff, because once you have a great job, there's nowhere to go up. But when I looked at Harbaugh, I do think two things are true. He's absolutely loves Michigan, and he'll absolutely sniff around over the next 5 years. Jim, what's his personality?
Yeah, look, Jim, I remember when Jim was going to take that job, and he loves Michigan. He loves Michigan. It's sincere, and I'm sure it'd give him no greater pleasure in life than to be able to deliver a national championship to Michigan. And they're getting closer and closer to that goal. But he's been in the NFL. He knows that those opportunities, especially if it's a great opportunity, are few and far between. And I don't blame him for just taking a look and seeing what else is out there. And look, sometimes when you're really good at something and you win a lot, like they have at Michigan,
Yeah,
you can be taken for granted. So it's a nice reminder that, hey, other people appreciate what I do. And yeah, it's just reminding everybody that the value that he brings to the program. And I don't think that's a bad thing for people to remember, how good they have it right now.
See, I think when Michigan said, we're going to cut you a little bit in pay, I was like, I don't know if I do that.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
That's
If
not.
anything, you're gonna give them a raise. That's what's going to happen after this year.
Okay, so if I just said top of your head, Bills, Bengals, who do you like?
I like the Bills.
Niners, Cowboys, who do you like?
Niners,
Eagles, Giants.
Giants.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Wow.
I'm taking the Giants. Look, Brian Dave always with me in New England. He was my quarterback coach at the Jets. He was my offensive coordinator in Cleveland. He's really bright. He's creative. He does a great job relating to the players. You've seen that throughout the course of the season, and it feels like the Giants truly believe not just in him, but believe in each other, and that's powerful. We had that in New England, that first Super Bowl run where we weren't ready to go home when everybody else was telling us it was time to go home, and they may be undermanned and they may be looked at as lucky to be there. I don't think that's the way they look at themselves. So I like them.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.